I don't know if anyone's made this comparison on the internet yet, or if we're the first to do it, but this movie, doesn't it have like the similar feeling of, an old man meets a young female counterpart that kind of re-shows him the way and is good at everything. It's The Force Awakens. It's Rey and Han Solo, but instead it's Helena and
Oh.
Indy.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. You like
Pizza time.
Pizza time.
Good early morning, sir. I'm so
Oh,
sorry. for
oh,
the-
good early morning. Well, it's okay. You got to do your haircut when you got to do your haircut.
I know,
I
sounds
get
so
it.
pretentious. I was hoping you were not going to say specifically what it was to the
Oh no,
audience.
like some people like me get a haircut at like a Supercuts for like $20.
I used to.
Uh, that's not what Ed does anymore.
That's not what Ed does. It's 7 a.m. for those who don't know, and it's
It's fine by
very
me.
early for what we. This might be one of the earliest times we're recording.
I think it's the earliest. Yes,
Yeah, because I have a
hair
haircut
appointment.
at 8:30 a.m. and it's 30 minutes away, so I got to get my ass out of here in like an hour. So, but you know what? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for this. I have a wedding next week. I have no choice. I probably wouldn't have done if I didn't have a wedding. So it's not Alex's wedding.
No, no, no.
That's still coming
We
up, by the way,
we won't
guys.
be telling you. Like we'll be gone. We'll be
Right.
off this. We'll be off YouTube for like a month.
That's a good push too. Like if anyone wants to send him presents or something, hey, that's in
Yeah,
September for Alex.
sure. Go ahead.
Some cool like Indian food or something I make.
Yeah. Anybody wants to come to Italy, you're welcome.
Oh,
Put it in the
ooh.
comments.
Actually, that'd be kind of cool though.
You crash the wedding. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be kind of cool. Let's be
Yeah, yeah.
honest with that.
Get some
You'll have to
people.
find it, maybe. I don't know if Talis will tell you.
Oh, well,
Where
I'll
it
give
is.
you the town. How about that? And then you have
Oh,
to find the
nice.
wedding.
Oh no. Oh man, this like town is good. That might be too easy, bro.
I mean, the town is already bursting at the seams with,
They
with
might
the wedding
walk like
party
3
there.
feet and find the fucking venue. Anyways, all right, guys. So,
Oh boy.
today we are very excited because it is Indiana the Jones in the
Mm,
Dial of the Destiny time.
mm.
The movie has come out this weekend. We've both seen it. I seen the movie about 2 weeks ago now at my screener. So the truth is, I could have talked about this movie 2 weeks ago, and Alex, you asked me to do an early review. Now I
Oh
purposely
yeah.
held back
Yeah.
because spoiler alert, I felt bad. I felt bad for the movie, honestly, because I don't love it, but I don't want the movie to fail as badly as feel like it might. A lot of the projections, early projections for the movie are really not good.
They're
Eh,
bad.
They're
They're
really bad.
really
They're
bad.
really,
Yeah.
really bad. Like
This
maybe worse than Flash level
yeah,
bad at this
this
point,
film
right?
cost $300 million to
Shit,
make.
that's more than is that more than the Flash?
I think it's
Just
yeah, it
off
is.
the
No, yeah,
bat?
the Flash was 250. So yeah.
That's ridiculous. That amount of
295
money is
million was the budget.
insane.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I felt bad about it. I didn't want to like say and tell people not to go. So I hope you guys maybe saw it, just made your own decisions. Because as of right now, it's 67% on the tomato meter. Not bad.
Yeah.
It's probably where I would put it.
Yeah.
But anyways, before really quickly, it's the Dial of Destiny. It's the fifth movie in the Indiana Jones franchise. It's the final one with Harrison Ford. I'm hoping it's the final one in general at this point.
Let's hope.
And it follows Indy. He's a lot older this time. He's like Harrison Ford's accurate age of like 80 or whatever. But this is a sad Indy, man. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy's living in his own apartment at 80 years old. He's by himself in a rinky-dink apartment in New York. He's still a professor. He's living out, I guess, his sunset years, just doing what he's doing, but he's not great. He's in the middle of a divorce with Marion, and just it's not the best we've seen him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
In this whole career, it's like the worst we've seen him. But uh an old problem comes rising back all of a sudden, all the way from like 1944 from World War II, where essentially one of his old villains comes back and Mads Mikkelsen, and he's trying to find what is the Dial of Destiny, which was a dial that they don't know what the fuck it does at all, and we don't know till the end of the movie. That was made by Archimedes.
Yeah, Archimedes
That
dial.
potentially turns back time of some sort, goes, time travel, whatever. We don't know.
Mhm.
But he meets what's her name? Freaking Phoebe
Helena.
Waller-Bridge's character Helena, which is the granddaughter of the one of his old friends, and also he's the godfather of her, and there's that family connection, and essentially they go out on this adventure to find out what this is, steal, like, make sure that it doesn't get into the hands of Mads Mikkelsen, and that there you go. We'll get into spoilers in a second, but that is
Mhm.
essentially the movie. Now, my quick thoughts already, as I said, I found the movie straight up to be boring. I didn't I can't say I liked it. I can't say I liked it. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, technically speaking.
Mhm.
Like the direction and the action scenes are okay. They're fine. They're good. It's a good looking movie, right?
Yeah.
The money more or less is on screen, but god damn, is this a freaking 2.5 hour slog? The story just did not hold up
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Mhm.
And it was in a movie that's supposed to feel like the swan song, like his final hurrah, where you're supposed to go, hell the fuck yeah, like moments of like, yeah, whoa, Harrison Ford, like, and cry, and it
Yeah.
had like almost, it was completely void of any
Yeah.
of that, any
Mhm.
joy or humor or any. It just felt so middle of the road. So
Yeah.
I went, okay, I would rather watch Crystal Skull. That's where I'll end it. But I'm more excited. Yeah, I would straight up. I'll.
Mm.
I need to ask you, Alex. Though, what
Okay.
did you think of Dial of Destiny? Is it anywhere as bad as you think or boring as you think as I felt
S-
about it?
So I'm gonna answer with a little bit of a question. Have you ever bake, or any ever bake, right?
I'm a horrible baker, but
Right.
I
So
know.
like you know how baking is, you have to get all the ingredients have to be right, right? And the measurements have to be perfect. It's like science,
Mm,
right? It has to be right. And then like because I've done it, I've like made chocolate chip cookies. My wife will be out of town. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna make her chocolate chip cookies. She gives me the recipe. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. I put them in, they come out, they just don't taste the same. That's Dial of Destiny. All the ingredients are there.
mhm.
It's just not. Something's just
Yeah,
missing.
yeah.
And like overall, the movie, I would agree with you. I thought the movie was. I don't think it was boring. But I do think the movie's like 40 minutes too long. It's
Very
two
long.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Too long.
And like it doesn't. It's not like it's an Indian movie where I can be like, oh, okay, I'm okay with it. Like there's enough. There's more than enough to keep me going.
Right.
Like there's just not.
Yeah.
I think, and what's crazy to me is that I would have cut most of some of the action scenes. Like
Right.
there's a chase in Morocco or Tangier that is like 15 minutes
Yeah.
too long.
The middle one, right? Where
Yeah,
it's with them in the little tricycles or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
that
And
was way too long.
yeah,
I would argue, if you wanna talk about cutting, I straight
the
up thought
beginning. Yeah,
the
it
beginning
was too
scene is
long.
20 minutes too long, dude. I
Hmm.
was already I mean, look, the technical level, the first scene's great, but it's just
Yeah,
too freaking long for what you
yeah,
get. All they tell you is basically the main players and that the dial is there. It's like,
yeah,
dude, what the fuck? Like, really?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
too
yeah, yeah.
long. Anyways, keep going.
So yeah, like I agree with you. Like I think the movie is too long, and I think that I could have cut like even Olivia. Like she leaned over to me in the theater. She goes, "This is a long opening,"
Dude, it's too
and
long.
you feel it. And I think what's crazy is that like I think there's a lot of people that loved the opening the most, and then the rest of the film
True.
was the problem.
That's true. A lot of
Um,
people really like the opening, but
but
I thought it was too long. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's made this comparison on the internet yet, or if we're the first to do it. But this movie, doesn't it have like the similar feeling of, an old man meets a young female counterpart that kind of re-shows him the way and is good at everything? It's The Force Awakens. It's Ray and Han Solo, but instead it's Helena and
Oh,
Indy. That's
whoa.
what this movie is. Like it's the same thing.
What
Um
the heck? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, in that sense,
yeah,
you're right. It kinda is,
it's
isn't it?
it's the same. It's a weird
Yeah.
dynamic. They just redid that.
Yeah,
Um
I guess you're right.
yeah.
Well,
Uh
Kathleen Kennedy, hi.
yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, there you go.
I mean, yeah,
But overall, back to just the overall thoughts of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, like I said, it's like when you make something, when you bake something, and it just doesn't come out the right
not right.
way. But it's everything's there and it's supposed to come out the right way. And you're like scratching your head, going, "Well, I did everything right. Why did it not work out?" That's what this movie is to me. And I just,
So did
I
you
don't know.
did
I
you or
like
did you not didn't like it? Is it a good movie or is it a bad movie?
it's. I'm not gonna say it's a bad film. It's not a bad film because technically everything's there. So it's not by the technical definition of bad film. No, it's not a bad film, but it's not a good film.
Okay.
It's definitely not a good film.
And did you enjoy
And
it? Did you
mm,
like it?
I don't know because I liked parts of it and then I hated other parts of it, like really despised parts of it. Um, I would rather watch
Made a
Crystal Skull.
choice. Eg Okay, yeah,
So
okay, see?
it's
That's
in
what I
terms
tell
of
people.
yeah favorite indie movies. This is my fifth favorite.
Yeah, I agree. See, a lot of people like I told that a lot of I told that to a lot of people as like my kind of short review. It's like,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, man, I won't say it's bad, but I'd rather watch Crystal Skull because at least that provides me with more entertainment.
yeah,
And it does feel more like I mean, come on, how could it not? It's Steven Spielberg. It's the first
right.
this was the first one not being directed by Steven Spielberg. It's directed by James Mangold, but
Mhm.
even just on a story level, I just thought that even that movie is just more entertaining. At this point,
Yeah,
the freaking fridge provides me with so much more entertainment than almost anything in this movie.
right.
Like, I
You
would
know, and
rather watch that movie. I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
I think part of that is that Harrison was much younger when that film was being made.
I know it's
There
hard
were
to
still
believe
some
that's true
stunts being done by him. Like you can
completely.
tell every time he's in a main action scene, you can tell it's not him, or
Correct.
he's on a set on a rig that's very safe. Like every time they cut to the inside of the tut tut hut hut, whatever those
Right.
things are called,
The tut
you
tut.
can tell they're not there. You can
Yeah,
tell it's
correct.
there's CGI around
Well,
him.
if you
You know,
if you wanna talk about knowing he's not there, it's partly why I didn't think the beginning scene actually really worked for me because that CGI face and the body just
the
it
gummy
didn't
face. It's
a
weird.
lot of people thought it felt like Indy. I'm sorry, I didn't. I
I don't
could
think it did.
completely tell
Yeah.
that
Well,
the body performance was not Harrison Ford, and that face is it's not bad, but at the same time, to make the whole sequence with that face, risky, man. I was
yeah,
like, I all I could think about was like, dude, there's definitely moments where like that's 100% gummy as fuck. That's
yeah,
chewier than fucking gummy bears left out on a freaking sunny day. It's just not working.
yeah,
It was a big risk, and I don't think it paid off. And that whole sequence to me just really didn't leave a good taste in my mouth right from the get go. And I was like, ah, okay, that missed for me. Okay, so well, you mentioned how you weren't sure it's a bad cake. You're not sure why it's bad, but have you thought about why? And can you tell me what things just didn't work for
okay,
you?
so yeah, I like we'll start with the over the top one that everybody on the internet's all about, right? Helena.
Okay, yeah, let's start with Phoebe.
I don't hate her character. I just don't know what her character is.
Thank you. Yes,
Like,
100%.
is she a thief? Is she an archaeologist? Is she, like she's so goofy running that like it could work kind of. Like she's a tall, lanky lady, and
Yeah,
like when you watch Indiana Jones, he's not overly athletic. He's
no,
he runs goofy-ish and stuff like that. So that could have worked, but I just don't know what she was. Like what is her purpose? Like you can tell that I mean, the rumors for this movie, right? That there was many different endings and many different scenes shot, uh, and I think you could tell that like her character was cut up into so many different things from so many different scripts that this is what we got. So
yeah.
that like I don't hate her at all. In terms of like an overbearing female lead, she's not one of them. I don't think.
You're 100% right, and it's
Yeah.
one of the things that I disagree most with most even for people we love, like Drinker and stuff,
Yeah.
the right,
100%.
which
Yeah.
I lied myself with most of the time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't think she as a character, I thought she was fine. I didn't
Yeah.
find her actually that annoying or anything. You said it. What was the purpose of her character? She didn't
Right.
really add anything, nor and but she and it was also sort of like they didn't really know how to use her in any really way besides, well, she's the well, she's the female antagonist. She's the buddy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that fine, but it never grows from that.
Why?
Almost every
Yeah.
other, even Mutt, I swear to God, even Mutt's a better used character. Like at least in
I
Shia
mean,
LaBeouf, it kind
uh,
of made sense.
we'll stop all this mutt bad talk right now because until the moment they start swinging in the jungle, Kingdom of the
Yeah,
Crystal Skull is from that like hour and
right.
20-minute section. Kingdom Skull is one of the best Indiana Jones films ever made
I
from
couldn't
that
agree
section.
with I couldn't
And
agree
then
with you
from
more.
then on, it just gets derailed.
Yeah,
But
there's a
yeah,
lot to like in Skull, man.
yeah,
People really target that movie way too hard, but it's
yeah,
definitely the worst
I
one
agree.
since then, but it's still not bad. But
Yeah,
so Phoebe again, yeah, I
yeah, back
just
to Phoebe.
couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree with more with you
Right,
that I didn't think like her character in and of itself. She didn't try to steal the show necessarily, which was again a good thing.
right,
We thought that was gonna be the thing, right?
right. Yeah,
We
yeah,
had
yeah.
all these theories that we initially thought. That's not true. I don't think she did, but she just felt empty. All of the
Empty.
I would
Good
argue
way to put it.
all of the characters though were completely underused and like you kind of wonder why is anyone even here? Mads Mikkelsen,
Yeah.
what a waste of a
What a
villain
waste. What a
of,
waste.
of a, one of the great actors of our time, one of the best villain actors of our time, and
Yeah.
he just like, walks around. He just shows up. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He's just there every single time just to brood and to be.
Ki
He has no memorable lines. He's
Yeah.
just this. He's just a Nazi.
Yeah,
Like,
just a
okay,
complete
great.
waste.
It's a
Uh,
complete waste. All of it. None of it's. I mean, I totally forgot Antonio Banderas was in this movie.
dude, I
I was like,
leaned
whoa.
over to my wife and there's this beer commercial where it's Javier Bardem, I believe, and these tourists are looking into a window and they go, "Antonio Banderas," and it's not him, it's Javier Bardem. And it's a very
Okay,
funny commercial.
good. That's a good
Um,
commercial.
and and I leaned over to my wife. Once I didn't realize it was him,
That's
and I leaned
insane.
over and I was like, "Antonio Banderas," and she started laughing, and I was like, but that was like the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with that's so funny. I wanna do
Um,
that at, I'm gonna do that at Dune when Javier
oh,
Bardem oh, wait, oh, yeah,
oh,
yeah, he's in it.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna do it.
that would be fucking great, dude.
Antonio Banderas. That's so good.
But
Anyway, so,
yes,
like, I couldn't agree with you more.
all the
There's so much
characters
about it.
have nothing.
They have
It's all.
nothing.
It's again all to
Nothing.
do about nothing. It's just nothing. There's
Yeah.
I
Where it was so it felt so oddly empty and
yeah.
Sala's in it, and that was kinda cool, but also kind of it was almost
Mm,
the cameo felt a little
sad.
tacky to be with you. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't know if this is necessary." Like, what is the point? He drives him to the airport.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
What?
mm,
That's all you gave Jonathan Rice Davies to do is drive him to the airport.
I
That's
just
great. Anyways, some
w-
other things. Is there anything else? I mean, it's
oh, well, like I think the film is completely devoid of any sort of logic.
yeah.
And like the screenplay also is really fucking weird. Like
It's
what
so
I don't, every indie you're thrown into the adventure, and that's fine.
yeah.
But you're always given a nice background of what's happening and what's to come. There's always, good staging, like Raiders of the Lost Ark for anybody that wants to learn about film or anything. Go watch it. You'll learn so much about staging and like instead of Spielberg's so brilliant with the camera, instead of cutting, he always puts his, Indy and the other subject in the center of the frame and it's always moving. There's this like 3-minute one shot that you don't even
Oh yeah.
realize is a one shot because it's staged so well. This wasn't that.
No.
And we didn't get to pile onto it. We never got any sort of background. Why the fuck is the CIA with this person? I don't understand who Schmidt is, why the CIA has him. Like, why is this CIA agent so mean? I
I
don't
totally
know.
forgot about that whole thing
Right.
about why
You
he's
know,
working with them and NASA's involved. I'm like,
right. And then on top of
okay.
that, why in the hell can you explain to me how the fuck do they know where they are every single
Exactly.
time?
I
Every
don't
single
know.
time. I'm
I
like,
don't know.
my mind was blown.
There's a part in the movie where they escape. They're on the boat and they escape. And then yeah, the binoculars. I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you?" I was like, at
I
that point, I'm like,
threw my
"Wait,
hands
hold
up.
on.
I
Would
literally threw
that
my
make
hands up.
sense?"
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But
So you're in this ocean, right?
so
And you go,
ridiculous.
oh, he's going west. Bitch, you know how much shit is west? What do you mean? And you're just gonna pick the exact
Everything's west
place?
technically.
I
It's a
just can't.
fucking orb.
God
The Earth
damn,
is an
dude.
orb. Yeah, the
The
whole thing made no sense. Like, oh,
yes,
he's not going east, so that completely narrows it down to the
to
1%
west.
of the place on the planet.
Yeah,
It
he must
just
be going here. We know
it's
that.
so ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
stuff like that with the script that just how many times did the script get rewritten and how many people wrote
Yes.
it? Like this is the best we could come up with
For
for like
Indy's
the last
final adventure.
seriously. This was such a again there was no one of my biggest problems with the movie. There's just never a moment where you go like again swan
Yeah.
song moment.
Right.
Never,
Never.
not
No.
one shot even.
No.
It just
No.
plays
No.
like
No.
a middle movie. You could slip this movie if it wasn't for his age. You could totally slip this movie right like after Crusade or any of the other movies,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't really know that it's the final one. Besides the
Right.
fact that he's older, and you get that. That's it. Other than that, this could have been completely in the middle. Crusade
Yeah.
felt like more of an ending. Crystal Skull felt more like an
More of an
ending.
ending.
But
Yeah.
that's what you don't
Absolutely.
want. That's
Yeah.
not what you want on your final Indiana Jones movie, and they marketed it as such. Of course it
Yeah.
is. That's what
Well.
you would expect and want, and that's not what they gave you at all. And it's just
Yeah.
that's the biggest head scratcher too. Like
Yeah.
it could have been a shitty movie, but it could have at least felt like a
Like,
final movie, and it doesn't
yes.
even feel like that. And
Right.
that's such a waste. It's like
Again.
it went wrong,
It,
horribly wrong there.
it goes back to the thing. Everything is there for it to work.
Yes.
It just doesn't.
No.
And again, like, I know it sounds like for the past like 30 minutes we've been shitting on this movie, but we're not shit. The movie technically is fine.
Yeah, it's
Like
fine.
there's silly shit in it that like is dumb, but technically, visually, it's all fine. It's just not good. It's not cohesive.
No,
It
it's just
doesn't
not good.
work.
To me,
And
it's the
that's the
script.
biggest problem. Yeah. And to me, like, I agree with you. Like, you mentioned a little bit ago, everybody's up in arms about Helena's character. Like, you're missing the point. The point is that somewhere the script got butchered and
Yeah, I think it
we
did.
don't know what happened. And like, look, everybody's read the rumors, the leaks, whatever. Apparently there was a script where Phoebe Waller-Bridge becomes Indy. She travels back in time and she
Right,
takes his place. And Indiana Jones never exists.
right.
And it's basically it reestablishes her, and she was going to take it on from there. She was going to go
Right.
forward. You know,
Well, let's go into that because I remember I told you
the
after
ending.
my review, one of
Yeah.
the first things that I said was this movie's not great and it's not for the reasons we initially thought. And that was one of the big ones. We heard
Yeah.
that holy shit, like she's gonna be the whole movie's like half the movies at least is gonna be about her being the new Indy.
Yeah.
And that time travel was gonna play really, really largely into it. And I'm happy to say that yeah, those are hardly the big problems.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Helena is not the next Indy and that they didn't do that. And so that's
Yeah.
thank freaking God that didn't happen.
I
I'm
agree.
very thankful.
Agreed.
And I would actually, so if I to move into some of the actually more interesting, cool things I thought they did. One, I'm glad they didn't make it about complete time travel, though there is time travel here. Spoilers. The
Spoilers.
dial it doesn't time travel you around time in general. It actually
Right.
all it ends up being is it takes you back to the
Yeah.
moment that Archimedes I forgot what war they were doing, the siege of Syracuse in
Siege of Syracuse.
212
Yes.
BC.
Right.
It's literally when he was making the dial, and all of the dial was going to take anybody who found it back to that moment. So
Mhm.
there's that whole third act ish
Yeah.
sequence where they go back in time, and that was it. And I actually really liked that. I actually really liked the last maybe 10 minutes or so of the movie. I was actually really enjoying that whole idea of time travel back. Not only that, it's like the time that Indy it's a personal thing for Indy. That's what he's always studied forever. And
Yeah.
he's there. So they land in the battle and he's like, I don't want to go home.
Right.
Because all that emotional stuff kind of actually really worked for me. His divorce with Marion, because spoiler, Mutt dies when he
World
goes to
Vietnam.
war for Vietnam.
Yeah.
Really sad. I really liked those scenes. Like those are real things that could happen. And I really like that. And so for him to want to stay, I thought was really kind of sad, but also a kind of full circle moment for him. I really liked that whole end bit.
Yeah.
If that was just the rest of the movie, I would have been, this is kind of cool. I like that idea. But it's not. It's literally 10 minutes of the end, maybe less than that. It's
Right.
just like the wrap up, and I was like, "This is a wow." So they kind of had an idea here.
Yeah.
You know, they actually had a really interesting idea that I think they
Mhm.
could have played with. Somewhere along the line,
Yeah.
they went either Kathleen Kennedy did it or asked
Yeah.
Kathleen asked Phoebe Waller-Bridge to essentially, like, takes acts 1 and 2 and kind of not make it about all of that,
Right.
which really sucks because there was a really good nugget there that I thought was a really strong part of that movie. Did
Yeah.
you do you feel the same? What did you think of, like, the
I
end
thought
and how they dealt with the time travel
I
stuff?
thought emotionally it was good. I didn't love the decision to say like I want to stay. Like I can understand it, but
Yeah,
like I feel like a person like Indiana Jones would know what it means if he stayed, like how it would break time if
the
he
whole
stayed.
time break
Yeah,
thing,
like
yeah.
I feel like
You're right.
Indiana Jones is of anybody on the planet Earth would know. So I didn't love that part. I was like, nah, I feel like Indy would understand.
That's a good point, you're right, and I think that's why Phoebe was smart in that moment to just
Y-
knock him out and take him
Yeah,
back.
yeah, take him back, right?
Um, and
But
I don't justify that part. I just think that the idea as a whole was good. If they could have written that part better, that'd been
yeah,
nice.
but I do want to say I do think the whole I think it was called time fissures in time.
Yeah,
That was cool. Like
yeah,
that how that happened and then they you get to the reveal that it's not the war, it's fucking it's this siege of
yeah,
Syracuse and
from,
it's
like, a
this
long
back
time ago. It's
yeah,
like
way
yeah,
back
that
in
whole
time.
sequence in the
That
plane
was
was actually
cool.
really good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
him
That was
going,
a cool
"You're
sequence.
not going back to the time." My heart was kinda
Yeah.
racing there. I'm like, "Oh, shit, where the fuck are they going?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the idea of, like, not knowing where they were going in a time travel sort of
Yeah.
scenario is really
Yeah.
fucking terrifying if you think
Yeah,
about it.
super
And so it's really
terrifying.
good.
Like,
Very
all of
cool.
it was really cool. I thought that was really cool.
Good
So yeah,
subversion.
that was great. That like final sequence, I like it was great. Again, I think um that I don't love the Indy wanting to stay bit because again, I
I hear
feel
you.
like his character would have known,
I
but
hear you.
at the same time, knowing where his character is in life and like the emotion that he's going through, I could understand how that is going through his mind, how
Again,
he can't see past it, you know?
I think if it was just better written, and I will throw this out there, not a
Mm.
screenwriter, obviously, but I would throw this out there because one of my favorite scenes was on the boat where you find the reveal of Mutt, right? You find
Yeah,
out
that
why
was a
they're getting
great scene.
divorced.
Yeah.
He plays that scene beautifully. It's
Mhm,
crushing. It really
mhm.
sucks. You know,
Yeah,
you finally feel for him and what he's going through for the first time
yeah,
in this movie. It becomes more about our boy, and I go, oh man, that's like that fucking sucks, man. And that I get it. And he says, the one thing I would do is go back and tell my son not to enlist. So you can see just how destructive that is, right? You can see
yeah,
destructive, like how destructive a death can be. And so in the moment, I feel like they could have written it so that in that moment when he finds like I personally think I would be happy here because my life back home is a shambles. I might just fucking kill myself at this point.
right.
You know, I can kind of understand someone making an irrational decision as kind of crazy as that
Yeah,
it is the time travel.
right,
So I don't know. I think they could have wrote something kind of pretty interesting to mark that. But
right.
you're right, 100%. It doesn't make sense for him to be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna stay. I'm not thinking about anything else right now. Anyways, but I really thought there was a really good end bit there at the end, and they
Yeah,
just but somewhere along the line, none of that fell through the rest of the movie. It just essentially becomes this chase, this elongated chase of
it's a
Indy
elongated chase, yeah.
and Helena, and they're fucking after them, and like who cares about the dial because nobody knows
Yeah,
what it does until
right,
the last 15 minutes. So who it's just
right.
so none of it makes sense.
Yeah,
I just
yeah, yeah,
it was
and,
so void of anything surprising or interesting, and it just makes
uh,
me sad, man. It really
yeah,
after the movie, dude, and I wasn't the only one who felt this way. Most of the people that I watched the movie with too, walked out like a dog between its legs, man. We were like, this, what the fuck? Like, this is what we get at the end
yeah,
of it all.
yeah.
So, anyways, well, before we go into like sort of like the last bits here of the future of how you think this may go, is there anything else you kind of like maybe liked? Any scenes? Any
Oh, I
maybe
did. I liked the addition of the kid, whatever his name
okay.
was. He was
Yeah.
fine. He's like, it's clearly
Um
like a short round.
the hell's that guy's
It almost would have worked better if it was just him and Indy. Um,
name? Yeah, I was kind of wishing that the whole
yeah.
time.
But also,
What's his
I do like the scene where they find the second half of the dial. That did feel like Indiana Jones. Where they're in the
remind me of
room with
that?
all we're in the room with all the methane, and she's trying to get out, and Indy's like schooling her. No, no, no. Here's how we get out. We go through. Like that was good seeing.
the like the
Yeah.
tomb-ish thing,
Yeah, the tomb thing.
whatever.
That was
Right? Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that
That
was
was pretty
cool,
cool.
and, like, seeing that he had the watch, and I was like, "Oh, what the
Yeah,
fuck?" That was kinda cool reveal.
that's cool.
Other than that, yeah,
That's it.
movie was hit and miss. Yeah.
It's a largely miss from again, at the end of the day, I just thought it was boring. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
the
would agree
ingredient
with
for
you.
me that was missing. Not boring. The excitement
Excitement,
part.
yeah.
Excitement is what was missing out of this
Yeah.
freaking cake. And it's just like, how the hell does that happen? Like, this is really showing how far Disney has really fallen about what their
Yeah.
sensibilities about what the audience wants
Yeah.
in the shitter. And it could be
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not one to just point one finger at one person, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying there's a
No,
thread
yeah,
there, okay?
it's her.
Um, and it just sucks. So I need to ask you, man, like, how do you just outside the movie,
Mhm.
Disney in general, like how seeing what they failed this franchise again. Like they completely butchered another
Yeah.
franchise for us, man.
Yeah.
So what happened? What do you how do you feel? How do you feel about Disney in general? What do you think they should do? What are we completely out? I canceled my Disney Plus subscription. I'm not even watching Secret Invasion right now. So it's like,
Oh, are a
what?
am I
What do we
completely
do?
out? I'm out until, I'm probably out until, well, unless Loki reviews are good, mm, I'm
I'm
out
surprised you're
until
not out yet, bro, honestly, because you were like the
Captain
first one to
America
put me
vote.
on this whole thing too. I thought you'd be out too by
I
this
mean,
point.
like, I'm mostly out. They haven't released a good animated film in a long time. This
No.
this indie film, I think this indie film was butchered so much, and I think part of it was leadership saw the original things, and they were like, "Oh boy, that's not good. We can't do this," because they started reading tea leaves and were like, "Oh shit, we're people are going to be really mad about this," and I think leadership saw it and was like, "Okay, we got to change this all up," which is why we got the product we got. Um, and I don't know where Disney fixes it, but I do want to ask Disney, can you just let, especially old male characters, like, can you just let them be with grace? Like, why did we need to see
Yeah.
Indy destroyed in this film? I understand that, like, you put together a good scene of that. There's one good emotional scene where, he explains what happened, but like that's like 2 hours into this movie. You know,
Correct.
why did we need to see Indy? So I'm fine with him being a grumpy old man, but like a better movie, in my opinion, would be a young archaeologist makes a big find, but he needs Indiana Jones's help.
Sure.
He goes to his door, she goes to his door. I don't fucking care,
Yeah, who cares?
and he coaxes Indy out of retirement for one last adventure.
Right.
To me, that's a better story. Um, but for here, like right now, like this was just not it. And like Disney, I don't think Disney knows how to fix it. I don't think they are completely sure how to fix it. But I would I would fire the writers you currently have on staff, and I would try to find something new, hire new younger writers or older writers, or I don't know. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I don't.
I know a second ago I said I don't want to point fingers, but I also do think you do have to fire Kathleen
Oh
Kennedy.
yeah, oh yeah,
That
absolutely. That
she
it needs
needs
to be
to
done.
go.
Like
And the
maybe,
fact she's lasted this long is just insane to me.
yeah,
It's insane. Anybody else in her position would have been fired 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, yeah,
And
100%.
it just doesn't make sense. Every one of the properties that she's touched is dead or dying. Not one thing
Oh,
that she
that's
has touched
yeah.
is
Go ahead.
going anywhere. Anywhere.
So
What
that
are you doing, Disney?
so that's it's a very good point. I do want to say I do think this is the like official end of Lucasfilm. I think
Oh, yeah,
Disney
I think
could
so.
potentially look to sell Lucasfilm.
Dude, I hope so because but again,
Maybe
I
back
don't
to
know.
George Lucas at a discount.
I want them to fire Kathleen first, and then let's
Mhm.
talk about Lucasfilm. But yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised either because it completely tarnished both franchises. These
Yeah.
are two of the biggest. Not only are they franchises, these are films that have shaped
Yeah.
modern cinema. Like
Absolutely.
they've influenced everything.
Mhm.
And now this is and I'm talking about Star Wars, of course. Star Wars and Indiana Jones, they're just this is how they've left us with them.
Yeah.
It's and it's like, how do you do that? How do you do that when you're left with such strong legs on both franchises to just completely knock it down? And just oh,
Yeah,
it
no,
fucking sucks, man.
I agree. You hit it on the head, man. Like we don't have the films we have today, the cinema experience we have today without Star Wars, without Indiana Jones.
No,
And it's it's sad to see the state of it. The Mandalorian is in shambles right now. People are really upset about season 3. Secret Invasion. It's the second lowest show to ever premiere on Disney. It's only their other lower show is Miss Marvel, which was a show for teenage girls and it didn't work.
Jesus.
Um,
Wow.
so Disney's hurting right now, and I don't like to fix it, you have to understand that the problem isn't the audience. The problem is you.
Yeah.
Audience, like everyone likes to say, "Oh, we have superhero fatigue. We have franchise fatigue." We don't have superhero fatigue.
No.
We don't have franchise fatigue. Like people are going to show up in droves to Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
People showed up in droves for Spider-Man or Across the Spider-Verse. Like it's not the fatigue. If you put a good product on the screen, people are going to go watch the film.
100%.
It's not about fatigue.
Yeah.
It's just that people are tired of watching bad shit. They're tired of seeing shitty CGI. They're tired of seeing, I think people are frankly tired of seeing their old school heroes, torn down and to
Treated this
make
way.
room. Yeah, make room for a new younger person. In this case, usually most of the times a woman.
Yeah, and like, where did that concept come from? This idea that just because one thing goes down, another must go up.
Yeah.
Why are you convoluting the story like that?
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
understand.
Logan is one of the best examples of like,
Just let
just
a
say
character
bye to the
die.
guy. Just say
Yeah,
bye.
yeah.
That's
I
all it
mean,
has to be.
yeah.
You're saying
So
bye. You just want to celebrate this person. And look, Logan was one of the most dark and like you want to talk about a
gritty and
down and out story of
yeah,
one of your favorite characters. It's fucking Logan. And look at after Logan, we love him more than ever. So
yeah,
it's not impossible to make a swan song movie about a beloved character and make him in the complete shit.
yeah,
So your writing just sucks,
yeah,
you can't
yeah,
blame
yeah,
it at that point. And
yeah,
I am tired of people blaming fatigue for
yeah,
the depths that Disney has sunk to, because you're right. It only takes people want good shit. As long as you make good shit, it
yeah,
doesn't matter. You know,
absolutely.
fucking Pringles is still a thing.
Yeah,
I hate Pringles, but people love
so
it,
do
and that's
I.
why
I
it's
don't
still
like it.
around.
Yeah,
Okay,
you know,
Carl's Jr. is still here. Burger
yeah,
King's still here.
like it's not franchise fatigue, guys. It's not superhero fatigue. It's everyone's. It's
People
setting
don't
in.
want
It's
to.
not.
People don't want to blame because people don't want to blame the writers.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to blame the makers because everybody thinks that they know they know everything and that they're going to be
yeah,
canceled if we fucking blame the people that are behind it. It's like,
yeah.
no, you can,
It's
you
bad.
should.
Yeah, like stop. Like for the love of God, just write a story. Stop writing stuff to put like a social message into it. Stop writing stuff to make sure boxes are ticked. Write a story and then people will come. Like, I don't know. I think Disney needs a new animated original and they need it to be a massive hit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have that in the cards for them in the next
I think
couple
they
of
need to
years.
stop with the sequels and all that. I think they need to stop with all of that, and they need to
Yeah.
start writing more. They're not going to, because sequels still make money, obviously.
But like,
But
here's the thing. Here's the thing. This movie cost $295 million.
God damn.
Right? So if you cut that budget in half and you give $150 million to like 2 filmmakers and say, "Hey, tell them, go make me the next Indiana Jones."
Right.
You or I could do that.
Yeah.
Not not Indiana Jones. Don't make Indiana Jones. The next Indiana Jones.
Right.
Someone to replace Indiana Jones.
Right.
Like this movie, unfortunately, has moved Rick O'Connell into my favorite adventure movie hero of all time. And it's
Oh,
pushed
he's
Indy to
always up there for
second.
me. Oof.
Yeah. Like that's what this done. And like to be honest, Benjamin Gates is like right
Ah,
here coming up on Indy.
Benjamin Gates.
Because I have
I
a better
love it.
taste of the National Treasure movies in my mouth than I do these fucking movies.
I love it. I love
Dude,
it.
like I don't know, man. I'm
Dude,
just like
that's so good.
I understand
Mm.
you started a deeper conversation that we don't have.
Yeah, we don't have time
But
for, but you know,
I understand sequels make money. I get it. And you're scared to do franchises. But when you're putting out $300 million to pump out a sequel or to pump out like The Flash, Guardians of the Galaxy cost $282 million. Like, give a hundred, cut that in half or
yeah,
even a third. Give $100 million to a young director and say, go make this something like this.
yeah.
You could have a hit on your hands, but you don't want to do that because you're scared. But it blows my mind that you don't do it.
It's kind of honestly what. So I'm looking at the list of most expensive films ever made right now, and I'm gobsmacked a little bit at
Okay,
because this is
Fast
considered
X.
one of the most expensive films ever made at this point. It is at 295, right?
Two.
Million. It is the 13th most expensive film ever made. But
Yeah,
let me give you a little bit of the taste of the list here, just to kind of put things in perspective of why I'm kind of shocked. So number one is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. That's not surprising. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Okay. Then The Rise of Skywalker. Then on Stranger Tides, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Then a
yeah.
bunch of Avengers movies, Age of Ultron, Endgame, The Way of Water, of course. Fast X, which
It was
is
340.
actually
Yeah,
kind of that's actually kind of surprising.
but Fast X made a lot of money.
It
Like it
did
cost 800 million,
it
and then
did
I
make
guess
the
its
money. We all
rentals
knew
are
that was gonna
massively
happen.
high. So
We
yeah,
all knew that was gonna happen.
yeah.
Justice League, of course, some other Star Wars films we know, and then Indiana Jones. I'm not gonna lie to you. This movie doesn't feel like in that realm of those movies, except for like
Yeah,
Fast. Like
yeah.
this
Oh
actually
no, Fast X is
really,
better than this movie.
yeah,
Well,
honestly,
on an entertainment
and
level,
on
it's
its
better than
entertainment level,
yeah,
yeah, I'd rather watch that because I was just bored.
yeah.
But dude, like I said, I saw the money on screen earlier, kind of to a point, but when the money is almost $300 million, this
Did
movie
you?
does
Yeah.
not feel that way
No,
at all. It does
no,
not feel like a $300 million movie. So
no.
it's wild. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't even put this in the realm of like The Force Awakens, Avengers. I mean that's what's taking up most of the list. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's
yeah.
not even you only have one really truly big star in this. Well, okay, Antonio Banderas and Mads Mikkelsen, but they're just like
Your
underused. Like
uses, yeah.
Antonio Banderas is on.
Use,
He shot for like probably 3 weeks or something like that,
yeah.
and
I mean,
Mads is barely in it except for like he just needs to stand. So
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me
yeah,
what the fuck went into this movie and how it happened. But
yeah. I
that's
don't
the
know.
truth. It
One,
beat
one.
a
Go ahead.
lot of movies to be.
Yeah,
I mean, again
yeah.
in
You're right.
this realm,
It's not on
it's
screen.
really wild.
One final pet peeve about this movie: how the fuck is Mads Mikkelsen still alive? The dude gets hit in the
Wait,
fucking face
oh,
in the on the train. The train's going like 80 something miles, and then what?
do they explain how he's okay?
No, we
Yeah,
get
okay, I
nothing.
thought
He's just
so.
there, and I'm like,
I
bitch.
had that thought too. I was like, how are you alive? Like,
I
and you
so
look great.
it's been a
You have no
long time since I
scars.
was this expressive in a movie because I was so annoyed at how the villains were just treated in this movie, how they were always there, how they were
Yeah.
always around. The first time we see Mads Mikkelsen after he gets smacked in the face basically by a train, I was like, what the fuck? And then I just kept throwing my hands up every time because I was like, guys, I don't understand. You're not giving me any
You're so
information
right.
to
And I
why these
remember I had
villains are
that question in
here.
my head. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I guess. But yeah, you're right. He has not one scar.
No.
And
I
I
mean,
thought they were
he
gonna
has a
explain it off.
scar, but you can't really see it.
I thought at some point they explained it off as like, oh, he time traveled and then
No.
that's how he's better somehow. I don't
No,
know.
no,
But
no.
that's not even true at all. Yeah,
No.
you're
You just
right.
made that
He's
up.
completely fine.
Yeah.
He gets smacked in the head and then gets thrown off the train. I mean, that's death for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Death.
you're right. That's fucking weird, isn't it? Anyways,
Yeah. All right. So
the John Williams score was always good as always. That's I guess one other thing I could say is that
it was
like
fine.
that score is
I
great.
don't the
I don't know
hype
what else to
the
say.
hype is a little overhyped, I think. I think a lot of people to I think button end this. I think the reviews have been more positive, especially from our peers, because they
Clearly,
grew up with Indiana Jones
yeah,
and they can't disconnect the nostalgia for them. So seeing him on screen one last time is enough for them.
yeah.
Whereas for you and I, it's like it's not enough. Like
No, it's
there's
definitely
too much
not.
missing. There's too
Yeah,
much
there
missing.
is.
I need more than Harrison.
Yeah.
And
We're that kind of watchers though too. Is like I think for the most part, like we at the end of the day, I think we care most about story. And if like I
mhm,
don't care if it's the biggest franchise in the world, if you don't have a fucking good story, I can't say I liked it. Like I just
yeah.
can't.
Right.
especially if you're gonna put it up against the rest of the franchise. I'm not one of those who necessarily just like something because I'm like I have a bias for it, like
Right.
for the franchise as a whole. I don't just like seeing them on screen and I'm like, I'm gonna give it all its praise. Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do
Exactly.
that? I'm not one of those kind of watchers. If you are, that's fine. I don't really
Yeah.
care. But it's just yeah. Anyways. All right, man. I
All
think
right.
we've said enough about this. We didn't
Yeah.
love it, but I get it. Like, where's it at? 67%, 66.
68 now.
That is kind of where I would have seen the
Yeah.
movie falling anyways, around like
Yeah.
the same.
Not
I give it
terrible,
like a
but
yeah. I give it like a 2.5 out of 5. I give it like a
I
well,
would agree.
you can skip it, but if you watch it, it's not the worst time you can spend ever, I guess. But it's
100%.
not amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right.
guys, thank you as always for listening. Like and subscribe, hit that bell for more of us and more reviews coming your way. We got Indian Tuesdays, of course, coming up still. I think the next big American movie we're going to cover is Mission
Mission
Impossible
Impossible.
Dead Reckoning.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Heck yeah. I've seen it. Not going to ruin it for you guys. Not just yet. But I can't wait for Alex to see it.
Hell
Hell
yes.
yeah. It's
All
not
right.
Indiana Jones. I promise you that. It's the best thing I can say right now. It's not Indiana Jones. So there you go. All right, guys. We love you.
right.
We will see you later. Let's get to that 901K. That'd be great. Almost there.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.